Okay, students, we all have now learned about till the development of science during the Renaissance period. That is the European period where the knowledge was start getting inside the common people, right? Or you can say from the medieval period, a little bit modification was there. The people were more versed about the knowledge. Now, next period is the knowledge, your period age of reason and age of enlightenment. So when we talk about here, basically we are going to discuss more about the age of enlightenment, but age of reason is a very short period, so directly you can say the age of enlightenment, it comes after the renaissance, if we will talk into the long term, and in short term it comes after the age of reason. So it is a very small period, and you can say age of reason was actually a movement which was followed after the mysticism, religion, superstition, lot many things was there into the middle age. So in this particular period, men previously whatever concept they had, that was challenged orally, it was challenged into the written form. Whatever thinkers of that time were there, they started bringing the knowledge to the local people that why you all are believing on this superstitious. So in the oral form and in the written form, the mindset, or you can say the brain of that time people, they were hammered. Why they were hammered? Because whatever they were believing, all this superstitious was absolutely nonsense. So to think and to bring the reason, the speaker, they have they challenge their thoughts by orally and into the written format. So this beginning of the open society where the individuals were free to pursue individual happiness as well as the liberty. Because see, in the medieval period we know that there was lots many of the irrationality. People were means whatever government was there, they were so much overruled to the people that all the public, they were just like a slave of the government ruler, right? So this particular time they were not having liberty, they were not having chance to think about to pursue the knowledge. So for that time the little bit movement started to make the people more and more reasonable. So politically and socially, whatever imperial means the old concepts of the medieval world was there, all these were abandoned, means it was rejected, it no more it was accepted by the people. The age of reason include the shortened time period described as the age of the enlightenment. During this time, great changes occur into the scientific thought as well as the exploration. New ideas fill the new horizon, and now see, when the people will start thinking, will start reasoning, so they will become more and more eager to explore this idea freely. Now, if you know something new, so definitely you will be very much eager to spread it, right? So this way, this age of reason in a very short period of time turned to the age of the enlightenment. Actually, this particular age of enlightenment refers to the historical intellectual movement. Okay, this intellectual movement was started into the 18th century. So when we talk about this movement, so this movement advocated through the rationality. Rationality means a set of reason which is having the logical base for the course of action, and whatever beliefs are there, means now whatever belief you have, you must have the logic behind it. If I am fasting because this fasting is very much beneficial for me, because it pures my blood, it enhances the my immunity, and so many benefits are there. So now I know everything. But in the, now see, I am also fasting. The old people or people before 18th century, they were also fasting. But what is the difference between two? Now here logically I know this fast is beneficial for me also, and that's why the god wants me to do that thing. Okay. Now earlier people, this is said by some people, so you have to fast. There is no thinking. They will not find the reason behind it, that why this thing is happening, whatever rituals are there, even they used to kill the people. And in some African tribes there was a system, or you can say the ritual, that after the death of their loved one, they used to means make the pieces of that dead body, and they used to eat it so that the dead body should not go waste. So many wrong rituals were there. So people started thinking, so to and whatever old rituals which were not having any logic behind it, everything was rejected. It was all the imperial concept, they removed it, they abandoned it. And this particular time period, movement started. Remember the name of the movement? That movement is the intellectual movement of the 18th century. So this particular movement, this advocated the rationality as a mean of establishment of the new authoritative system. Because now see, system hi pura gadbad hai, so there is a need of changing the system. So new system was based on the rational thoughts. Now, if rational thoughts are there, so this system will be a very perfect system. This system will have some ethics. It will have the aesthetics. Now, see, if you know if something is beneficial for you, so you will have a very good feeling from the inside, right? As well as full of knowledge. So the intellectual leader of that particular movement, they regarded themselves as the courageous and enlightenment superior, having the more knowledge on the basis of knowledge superior. It is not like that leader of intellectual movement, they are ruling the people. They are not ruling the people. They are just hammering them to think. Understood? Now, when they started thinking, they started bringing the enlightenment in them. Understood? So these particular movement leaders, they all were courageous, because see, that particular time to say against anything empire was equally giving their life. So they were very much courageous, those who have come out with the ideas to bring the reformation into the society, to talk, or you to take the society into the progressive manner. So there is a need of lots of encouragement. So these leaders were very much courageous. They were very much elite, and they regarded their purpose as leading the world towards the progress. They don't wanted to get themselves progress, but they wanted to take the world into the progressive way. And because see, they were just under the long huge pressure, because the medieval period having lots many of the doubtful tradition, full of irrationality was there, lots many of the superstitions and tyranny was there. Tyranny means the cruel government, which is not which is suppressing whatever public is there, and they are just considering that the public is just like the slave to them. So lots of tyranny was there, that particular into the medieval period. There was a superstition, full of irrationality was there, lots many doubtful tradition was there. So this intellectual movement leader, they wanted to take the world out of all this problem, all this trouble. That's why they brought the this particular intellectual movement, and they were hammering people into the oral form, into the written form. Go out, think, start thinking. So this movement also provided a framework for American and French revolutions, Latin American independence movement, as well as they polished the constitution. Because now this constitution, there is a need of the changes into the government. This government will not be accepted, which is very much doing the tyranny. So it is not accepted by the people. If any problem is happening, if government is not working properly, you and me are not going to bear, because now we are very well educated, right? So this was the case at that particular time also. This led to the rise of the capitalism and the birth of socialism. Because see, in the earlier period of time, whatever economy was there, that economically only and only king, or you can say the empire, they were very much rich, and rest all public, they were very poor. So now when this thing is happening, so capitalism will come. That means the political and social group, they will have the economic privatization, and socialism means as a community. So whatever economic trading and everything will be happening, public should get the benefit of it. So this age of enlightenment, this was followed by the romanticism into the science, and the romantic movement of the 19th century. This reshaped the science by opening up new pursuits unexpected into the classical approach of enlightenment. So whatever major breakthrough happened at that particular period, we all are going to discuss, especially in the case of the biology, Charles Darwin theory of evolution, फिजिक्स में इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिज्म, मैथमेटिक्स, यूक्लिडियन ज्योमेट्री, ग्रुप थ्योरी, chemistry में organic chemistry. The decline of romanticism occurred because of the movement positivism began to take hold of ideal of intellectual 1840, and this all last until the about 1880. So this is all about the age of enlightenment. We all are going to discuss, means this is the last age which we all are going to discuss. After that we all are going to learn what is the science, because see here till now we all are dealing with the history part of the science, that how the science has developed, what was people thought before the science, and when the science was not there, people were into the lots of doubt and in lots of problem. They were having no liberty to express their ideas. They were just like slave. There was no whatever knowledge was there. Knowledge was just into the means religious guru, or maybe into the empirical region, or you can say the whatever rulers were there. They were only educated. So slowly, the science spread into the public. Now, see this age of enlightenment. So this particular age, now science has come to the local people. Now thereafter, we don't want to know how further development into the science is happening. Now we will be talking about the science from the next lecture. In that, we will be talking about what is the nature of the science, how the science accepted as a knowledge. Then we will be talking about how science helps into the eradication of the superstition, then exploiting myths and all, blind belief, then prejudices. All this we all are going to discuss in detail. Thereafter we will be talking about how science brought the harmony into our life, then science in our everyday life. That is one of the most interesting part of this particular unit, and will end science versus the technology. Because of the science we have the technology, and I'm very proud to say as a science student and science teacher that if there would not be science, there is no chance of any type of the advancement into the world. So this is all about your ages. But in the age of enlightenment, there were some leading scientists. They have given lots many of the contribution. We'll just discuss about them, and after that this particular history part will be over, and we will enter into a very most interesting phase of the science. Oh no, ऐसा फास्ट फास्ट जा रहा है. So हमारे जो पहले साइंटिस्ट है is डेविड ह्यूम. You can pronounce this as a David Hume also, your wish, how you want to pronounce. So the period is 1711 to 1776. He was the one who has challenged the empiricist tendency to fall on the ordinary moral belief. Now see here, he was the person that till now lots many inquiry was done, lots many knowledge was clear. So he was the one who said that inquiry concerning human understanding. He's one of the book. He argued for the rethinking about the causes. That whatever knowledge we have now, see people is having the knowledge, but he was the one who has emphasis on rethinking of the cause and effect, identified the correlation. Now, see, if any correlation is not implying to the causation, we should rethink. So, he considered that knowledge, whatever we have, we should not take all the knowledge as a granted. We should always have doubt about whatever we all are learning. So, his idea was doubt should always remain there. even more than Locke, and he opposed to the metaphysics that whatever concept is given, it should not be accepted. So this was a little bit about the David Hume. Next scientist was the John Locke. He is also known as the father of the classical liberalism. Liberalism मतलब, yes, liberalism मतलब liberal. He is ready to accept, okay, whatever oppositions even about themselves is there, so accept. Now see, when the people become more educated, so bit ego kind situation hone lagi, they were not ready to accept anything other than what they have learned, but he was the one who was very open. He was very much ready to accept, and after accepting, he was ready to study. So he was actually the English philosopher, and as well as he was a physician. He regarded one of the most influential Enlightenment thinker. He considered on the first British empiricist. He is equally important to the social contract theory. He worked had a great impact upon the development of the epistemology as well as the political theory. Epistemology, it is the theory of knowledge, especially knowledge which is having its own proper method. It is having the way of validity. It is having the scope as well as the distinction between justified belief as well as the opinion, as well as he has given the contribution into the political philosophy. So he was the one who was ready to learn, and he made the way, or you can say he has given the proper idea that how we should build the theory, how should we build the knowledge. Now, one of the most important scientists, having lots many contribution. He was a very great person who has given lots many idea about the gravity. He is having lots many contribution into the many subject like physics, mathematics, astronomy, natural philosophy, alchemist, and theologian. So Newton, he has made important contribution in all the area, or you can say in all the sparks of the science. So let us discuss in detail about one by one. First, in astronomy, he developed the theory of the gravitation. His theory of gravitation is very well accepted, and till date it has not been challenged. Then again, Einstein, he refined his theory. Means see, basic idea was given by him, but further modification, always there is a modification in science. So his theory or his idea was refined by the Albert Einstein. When we talk about the next field of the science, he has contributed into the mathematics. In mathematics, he contributed towards the methods of computation, approximation, as well as the probability. Then, next subject of science in physics, he made significant contribution to the field of physics with reference to the optics as well as the mechanics. Then he also worked into the theology. Theology means study of nature of God and religious belief. Because see, अब तक क्या हो रहा था, when people started becoming more educated, they started stop believing into the God, but he was the one who has accepted it that God is the master creator, and his existence cannot be denied in the face of whatever grandeur. He is the one who has made all this creation. So without God, the creation is not possible. So he has given contribution into the theology also. Then the last scientist is the George Berkeley. George Berkeley, he is one of the most famous three British empiricists. The one two we have already studied, John Locke and David Hume. He was best known for his early work on the vision as well as into the metaphysics. Then his empirical theory of vision challenged the then stand account for distant vision as well as account which requires a tactic geometrical calculation. So his alternative account focus on the visual and the tactual object. So this is about all contribution of the various scientists into the age of enlightenment. Now we will be talking about the nature of science till the till here. If anyone have any doubt, we can ask. So here we end with the history part of the science. If anyone have any doubt, can ask me.